poetic justice and karma, when they come together, they can be pretty darn rough. Remember, for the longest time, the skit that all these right-wingers were doing is somehow Biden walk into the wrong place or Biden confused. They try to make everything seem as if Biden were confused, that Biden wasn't mentally all the way upstairs. Well, it turns out, like always, what is the most famous things that those right-wingers do, the right-wing politicians, Republican politicians do? They are great projectors. In other words, the deficiencies that they have, the immoralities that they have, all these things that they have that would make them look, well, you know how, they project it onto someone else. And that's exactly what they did. And now, as it turns out, because Trump is always out there, we can roll it and see who may be a bit mentally deprived, mentally unstable, mentally maybe kind of losing it a bit. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
Obama, we won an election that everyone said couldn't be won.
Obama dropped missiles and they ended up hitting a kindergarten. If that's the case, he's going to end up being indicted when he leaves office.
Obama he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to he doesn't even mention them in his statements. It's all coming through Iran.
Well, you mean President Biden?
They were interviewing him 2 weeks ago, and they said, what would you advise President Obama? The whole world seems to be exploding. They never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people, soldiers, National Guard, so whatever they want. They turned it down.
He was confused. He was confused the same way he said Joe Biden was going to start World War II.
We would be in World War II very quickly if we're going to be relying on this man.
Clearly, Donald Trump is not the same Trump from 2016.
When I came here, everyone thought Bush was going to win. They thought Bush, because Bush supposedly was a military person. Great. You know what? He was a military. He got us into the Middle East. We came up with a new couple of words for corn. Viktor Orban, Hungary, very powerful. He fronts on both Russia and Ukraine. They were funding Hezbollah and Hamas.
When he gets off the teleprompter, there's a lot of mistakes, a lot of stream of consciousness stuff.
We're also going to place strong protections to stop banks and regulators from trying to debank you from your political beliefs, what they do. They want to debank you, and we're going to debank. Think of this. A very big hello to a place where we've done very well. Sioux Falls. Thank you very much, Sioux Falls. So Sioux City, let me ask you, how many people come from Sioux City?
You know, the Nikki Haley thing
That one
was disturbing. We talked about this on Friday about Obama and his problems, and there was actually some poor guy who said, "Oh, they're making things up now to distract from Joe Biden." No, I'm not trying to distract from Joe Biden. Joe Biden's doing just fine. We're talking about the fact that time and time again, Donald Trump, who's obviously, as Ron DeSantis said, lost more than a step, and as Nikki Haley says, is really confused up there. And she says, well, our kids deserve better than somebody that doesn't know where they are or what they're doing. But you see him go through his speech and he struggles and he starts to say Obama, and then he cuts himself off because his mind's going, wait, is Obama really president? Still?
What decade am I in?
What decade am I in? And then he continues and he goes ahead and just says Obama's name because he can't remember Biden's name. And we had the same thing the other night where he goes, Nikki. He says it 3 times. And then he moves on thinking that, wait, but that doesn't sound quite right, but maybe that's right. And then he comes back and he accuses Nikki Haley of being Nancy Pelosi on January 6th.
So there you go. Donald Trump. If that were Joe Biden, think about what the media would have been doing with it. It would have been played up all over. It would be on reels over and over again. Thank you, Joe Scarborough and team, for actually putting this montage together. Because, as it turns out, we don't get this kind of coverage on the mainstream media generally. In other words, they'll talk about it in passing, but actually to hammer home exactly what somebody like Trump is doing. I mean, if President Biden trips, if President Biden stutters, oh, it's the end of the world. His mind's going. But Donald Trump, for many, many seconds, sometimes over a minute, he talks nonsense. And people see that as being coherent. Is that somebody you want the red button? Well, you don't want him close to the red button no matter what. But is that who you really think should be controlling our country? I don't think so.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.